Mr. Young Trader, it is Thursday morning. Trying to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, and natural gas. Looks like the ONQ is down about 30. And remember, there's a lot of big time earnings coming out here after the close today. You're looking at Apple, and we're looking at Amazon here after the old close. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy on a stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Bitcoin daily, weekly chart. Now you can see here how we held this level right here. This is what we're looking for. We just consolidated very nicely. Now yesterday, they really only got down to so far today, I should say, is 108.25 level. Okay, so that's looking here not really that bad. We put a bottoming tail in yesterday, but again, what we're doing is we're putting lower lows in. Okay, so we really have to watch this level right here. This is that 107 680 level. We really want to hold that there on a closing basis. If not, we could retest this 104 249 area, and then we could retest that 103 745, which is the bottom of that candle. Okay, now on the upside. Well, really, this 8-day is everything. Okay, now the 8-day was doing really good. It was curling up, but now you can see how she's going sideways action here. Say so 111, 1113, y'all. That is going to be very, very key. And then we go to today's high, which was 111.785, and we'll come over top of that candle at 112.355. But then we'll be looking right here for the 100-day there, 113.842. Then we have your 50-day rate above it at 114.28, and then we have your 21-day at 114.803. Now, the 21-day here is curling over. We don't want that to curl over that 50-day and that 100-day here. That would not be good. That's going to be very, very strong resistance. Now, we had a nice good rally up here, but you can see these two candles. See that? That's what they call a tweezer top. Okay, so when you see that, even though it pops up, one's green, one's red, the second one candle, not the first one so much, but the second candle was the killer because it put in a lower high and it put in a lower low. Okay, and that's, you never really want to see that because really, realistically, the next day she's going to be lower, and that's what we got. So again, what we want to watch today is that 8-day. That's going to be very, very key. Okay, and we get above that situation, we come up to the top of that candle, that 112 area, and then we have that 100-day, and then we have 50-day. Everything is jammed right up at that 114 level. Okay, now I say on the downside, just watch yesterday's low. That's going to be very key. That's 109 300, and then watch today's low at that 108.25 level, and then we come right down to that 107 level. That's going to be very, very critical. If we lost, then we come down to that 200-day. Now we have the RSI. This is on 44. This is not overbought or oversold. The green was looking very good with a momentum, but it just could not cross over, and now we have the sideways kind of an action here. Okay, so on a weekly chart, this is still very, very good, bullish here. We have this nice series of higher lows and higher highs. The key is holding that 50-day on a closing basis, that 103.301 level. Now, the 8-day so far has not crossed over. See 113.578 of the 21-day. Okay, so you don't really want to cross over, because if it crosses over, this is the result. Okay, unless you're short, then it's fine. Okay, but right now here we're looking here by Friday. Only got a couple days left. You really want to reclaim that 113. You really want to claim that 113.578 level. Right now you can see here where this week's candle is making so far. I should say so far, we got a couple days left here, higher high and higher low situation, but we got to see how that's going to shake out here by Friday. Now, here we have 51. That's not overbought, oversold. The green is still below your red, so it shows momentum to the downside. Okay, so always take a look at that. Make sure, see, that has not even curled up yet or even attempted. It tried to attempt to curl up here, and it just couldn't do it. So now we got to just be a little bit careful situation here on this weekly chart. Okay, because what we also have here, you have a possible bear flag here. Okay, so just watch and see. You take those two candles, see that like a big pole, and then it's rallying up here. So just be a little bit careful here with the old Bitcoin here until we can get back above all these simple movement averages and actually close above it, not just a pop and drop situation. All right, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold. Okay, so we have this 8-day that rolled right on over. Okay, so we had that nice bear flag situation, came right on down. Now the 8-day crossed over the 21-day. That's going to provide very, very strong resistance. Okay, so realistically, what you're looking for on the upside is that 40.53. That's your 8-day, and then we have the 21-day at 40.85 level. Okay, you have to get back above that. Now, if you do, then we just follow the candles up there, 41.23 level. Then we'll come up top of that, 41.71 level. Okay, then we come down to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 42.29, and then we just venture right on up here at the 43.46 until we hit that 43.98. But you got to get above that 8-day and that 21-day. But usually when you have that 8-day that crosses it, that's going to be very, very strong resistance, just like we had really good strong support as that price is above the 8 SMA, okay? Now, here on the downside, obviously we want to watch yesterday's low. That's always key, 49.30. Then we want today's low, 30, what did I say? Yeah, 39.30, sorry about that. And then 39.25, watch the bottom of that candle, 39.01. And then the 50-day is going to be key at 38.36 level. Okay, so that's going to be your downside. So right now here, we just have like a solid sideways at consolidation. But realistically, for me, I have to have this back above that 8-day and 21-day. Then I would jump into GLD and take it right back up again. Unless it comes all the way down and holds that 50-day, then you can take a nice trade here off that 50-day and run it right back up to the 8-day simple average. Now we've got to wait to a nosebleed overbought situation here. Now you're sitting at 49, so we got to see how that's all going to shake out. This is not overbought or oversold. The green crossed over red, so you can see where that momentum is there to the downside. But just I don't never really like when that 8-day crosses that 21-day. So unless you get some kind of a catalyst to take it above, that's going to be very, very strong resistance. Okay, silver. Let's just see how the old silver's doing. Okay, see now this 8-day crossed over, and you can see here how it's going right into it. Yeah, it got above it, but it couldn't hold it. So far, we're sitting right into it. All right, so upside, what you're watching is that 47.80. Get above that, we have that 48.86. Now we get above that, we come right there to that 49.25 level. Then we can venture to the bottom of that candle, 49.66. And then we have a 50.08 level. We come on top of that candle, we're looking at 51.61. Then we have 51.83. Then we venture it up to 52.63. And then we have your 53.76 as your retest. But you have to get, just like on gold, you have to get back above that at 8-day and above that 21-day. So for me, how I trade this is I wait till we get a close above that 8-day and that realistically that 21-day. Then if we get a close above that, then I would jump in the SLB and I would look for the target up there at that 53.76 level. Or bottom line is this: if it holds this 50-day, then I would take the trade from SLB and take it up to that 8-day. Now on the downside, you want to watch today's low. That's that 47.09. We'll come down here at 46.05. Then we'll be looking for that 50-day at that 45.10 level. Now, obviously overbought condition, but now we're sitting here at 51. That's much, much better. The green is still below your red, so you can see that momentum to the downside. Same way what on here. Same what we had. But we had this bear flag situation. Keep right on down. Another bear flag situation. Came on down. But now we're holding it. We have a bottoming tail here. The key is that 8-day and that 21-day on the upside. All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil. All right, here we have the old crude ski. Okay, let me see if I can figure up here a little bit for you. Okay, nice. All right, so we had this series of high, lower, high, lower, high. We reversed that. Okay, we broke that trend, but where do we go? Right into that 50 SMA. Now we went right into it. We're a little bit above it, but you notice that you didn't close above that 50-day. That's why you trade the charts. Okay. Then we had that red candle, but you notice it held the 8-day. So right now we're holding this that 21-day. We're barely hanging on to this 8-day. So downside, this is what you're looking for, is that 8-day. Okay, that's 60.29. That's going to be very, very key on a closing basis. If you lose that, then we have that 59.91. Okay, so that's basically that is going to be your key support levels. If we lose that situation, then we're going to come over top of that candle at 58.08. Then we'll come down to the bottom, 57.34, and we'll come to the bottom of this candle at that 56.35, and then your retest obviously 55.96. Okay. Now yesterday we had a really, really big draw right across the board in crude oil and in distillates and in gasoline. The only place you had a little build was in Cushing, but everything else you had a really good draw. Now what we look at, see how we look at the top of that candle. See this? See that double top situation came on down. Now we had pretty much a similar thing going on right here. Okay, see this? Okay, and see that? And then we just could not get through. Plus you have not only the double top, but you got that strong 50 SMA here. So now here on the upside, we look at today's high at 60.47. We'll go to yesterday's high, 61.02. Top of that candle, 61.50. But really looking at that is that 62 flat. That is your 50-day. Now, we can come up to the top of that candle at that 62.92 level, which is right here, okay? Right here. Sorry about that. Yeah, 62.92. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here on the top side. If you can crack above that 50-day, and then we're looking for that 64.32, 65.47, and then we come up top of that candle at that 66.42. Now again, any kind of disruption will take crude higher. Okay, that's the key. Any kind of disruption. So right now they had a little infighting against there with Israel and the whole situation, but now they call it ceasefire again. This was the disruption because T-Man, he put a sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies, and that's going to be a huge effect on Russia's money flow. So again, any kind of disruption, anything on that order. That's why I like trading crude, because it's always in the mix. Okay, so for today, we just want to watch that key, that 8-day. That's that 60-28 and that 21 days. You need to hold that. If not, once we start losing that area, then realistically, here's your big retest at 55.96. Now upside, we have resistance, but really your big target is that 62 flat. That's going to be right there. It's going to be that 50 simple moving average. Now we're sitting here in the middle. This is not overbought or oversold. The green is still over your red. Okay, so again, we got to see how this all going to shake out. Now, there really isn't anything here for oil today. Rig count there on Friday, but that's not really what you call a market mover. Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. Okay, natural gas. Okay, this looks like it really popped up here, but really it didn't. This is just that contract roll. It started on Sunday on the 26th, and now you're in the full into December contract. Okay, so right now I won't be trading this until I can get the charts straightened out, because you look at ETFs like UNG or KLD, nothing's moved. Okay, it's still flat, even though you had this big jump up. Okay, so this isn't like a jump up on demand or anything. This is basically just a contract roll which took it on up. Okay, so what we're really watching here, take it down a notch. Okay, on the downside here, what you're watching is that 3.75 level. Okay, then we'll come right to the top of that candle there. That's that 362 level, right? Then we'll come right down here to the top of that candle. That's that 3.58 level. Then we have 3.55. We have 3.50. But realistically, you're looking for that for this 8-day here now at 3.47 and 3.45, which is your 200-day. Then we have your 21-day, and then we have your 100 SMA here, and then we have the 50-day right below that at 3.13. Okay, but realistically, you're just like in no man's land here until these charts get. It usually takes a good week or so here for these charts to straighten out. Then I'll jump right back into natural gas again. Okay, so on the upside here, you got we hit 3.86. That's going to be a resistance level. The next level is 388, and then we have 394, and then we'll come up here at 4 flat, and then we'll come all the way up here to that 415 level here. Okay, but again, the chart here, we have a low, higher low, higher low, but then with that big gap up kind of a situation, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of throws the charts right out of whack. So bottom line, if you watch yesterday's low, that 375, there's your gap. You have to come all the way to the top of the candle at 3.43. There's your fill. So once this here gets going one way or the other, then I'll jump right back into natty gas. Now remember, the EIA report will be out today at 10:30, and we'll see if that's going to be any kind of a market mover. Now here, your RSI looks like it's come up to 66, like this really rallied up, but it really didn't. It just jumped up on that roll, and you know what I'm saying? So the chart's a little bit out of whack, so it got to be a little bit time for this here to get back in there. Next week, I'll be right back into the natty. Okay, that's what I got for you. Now, remember, there could be a lot of good earnings here after the close there today. Apple and Amazon. Now, there was a lot of big reports there yesterday. Okay, what do we have yesterday? Okay, so Microsoft actually had really good numbers, and then the stock came off. Let me see here. Google. Now, Google is rallying up. Closed yesterday at 274. It's sitting at 294 now, so that was up. Very, very nice. Now, remember, the stock that I'm really trading here daily is Palantir, PLTR. That was like 170 here, I think, a week or not less than 2 weeks ago. Okay, now you're sitting at 198. Now, their earnings are coming out on November 3rd. So what I'll do is I'll just run it up into that, and I'll sell half before. Then I'll see what happens after hours. Maybe sell the other half or ride it out a little bit, see how that goes here. But again, remember, Apple today, Amazon today, those are going to be big numbers. You see where Apple jumped up here a little bit. And now Meta. Now, Meta, they had really good numbers. They beat on revenue, but their spending is just completely out of control here. So that Meta stock is coming right off. It closed at 751 yesterday, and you're sitting at 686 right now. Okay, so NVIDIA had a really good run up. Now you're sitting back down a little bit, but their earnings aren't coming out to the 19th of November here. So again, you know what I'm saying, just pay attention to the earnings. And a lot of times if you come up with a plan, like what I always do is I always buy it way ahead of time. Then I'll sell half position before, and then I'll see after hours how it trades. I can just get out of it, or I can run it up like what I been doing here with the Google. Okay, that's what I got for you. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.